Guys, what's going on? This is the Club of the Man 1993 coming at you for a late night live stream. Just talk about a subject that's been on my mind fairly recently in the world of WWE wrestling. This video is kind of a video response to Dalyxman's recent video regarding the recent announcement that JBL is stepping away from his duties as being on Smackdown Live commentary, and also as to why he's not reviewing SmackDown Live anymore. So I took it upon myself, and I saw this video, and it got me thinking as well, what has really caused SmackDown Live to take the downfall it has recently taken? And as we all know, SmackDown Live really hasn't been that strong of a show since the Superstar shakeup after WrestleMania, which I think it didn't hit it right away. Personally, I think SmackDown hit its lowest point in the Build the Battleground. It had a couple shows that were pretty decent following Battleground. I'd say the first 2 weeks after Battleground, those shows were solid B shows. And then the week after, I remember we had a show that was like the first hour was good, but the second hour kind of fell flat. And then after that, we really haven't been getting nothing really special on SmackDown Live, honestly. And, a lot of people, and I do think this too, think it's because Ryan Ward is no longer the head writer, apparently, for SmackDown Live. It is Road Dogg. Could it be that? Could it be the reason why they did that was because people think has WWE tried to, purposely downgrade SmackDown because it was the better show, because they want to make Raw the superior show. Going back to my video response to my friend Robbie One Kenobi, talking about how the WWE is just showing its true colors by that quote that I shared from CM Punk's podcast, saying how the WWE only does things to protect themselves and not the wrestlers, making it look like their own playground. So with WWE making all this money, thinking they had nothing to lose, is this just a way them just experimenting around, saying, hey, we want to make Raw the flagship show, and now we're making SmackDown Live look like, the developmental branch show on the main roster, personally? Because as AJ Styles also said, Raw takes superstars, SmackDown makes superstars. So confused as I am as to, is this all true? We'll have to see. But I came up with a list of my top 5 reasons as to why SmackDown Live has fallen. Mainly, the first reason is going to sum it all up. The main reason why is because, to me, there's just no depth and development anymore on SmackDown Live. Everything feels the same, and nothing new is happening. No one's improving. People are either getting worse or going nowhere, and the same thing just keeps happening, because they're not doing anything else than just, the normal standard stuff. Let's get into the other 4 categories as this, wraps up everything. As I said, just this one category. And Robbie, thank you for joining me in the live chat. So my number 4 reason is overdone matches. We noticed that I said this probably back in January. It was funny to think how SmackDown Live has the smaller roster, but back then, I felt that SmackDown Live was producing more fresh matches than Raw. Raw felt like it was doing the same match over and over. Because how many matches were we getting, involving Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, Chris Jericho, and Kevin Owens? It made us feel like that those were the only 4 people that mattered on the show. Everybody else was complete dirt. SmackDown Live, we had all these different main events. And even if some did repeat, it was because it had a purpose and it meant something. I could think back to we had a couple main event matches involving Dean Ambrose and The Miz for Intercontinental Championship, where it was just the first match and like a rematch or so. I know we had the number 1 contenders match where if Dean Ambrose would have beat AJ Styles, he would have went on to face AJ Styles eventually for the WWE Championship. Even though I know I can say now probably that wasn't quite the best idea, because that was showing that, the idea of champions losing matches clean. Well, it wasn't clean because that's when Ellsworth was involved, but still, those matches felt like it meant something. Now today on SmackDown Live, we're constantly getting the same tag matches with like AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura versus Kevin Owens and Baron Corbin. Or like this past week on SmackDown, we had Randy Orton and Shinsuke Nakamura versus Jinder Mahal and Rusev. Those matches just feels the same. And yeah, I know he's not on SmackDown, but dude, Colonel H. Oh, no, Robbie, please don't remind me of that. That just made HBK look terrible. Please don't remind me of that. But anyways, overdone matches, and plus two, it's hurting feuds more. Like a match that kind of ticked me off this past week on SmackDown Live was the match between the Usos and the New Day. The stipulation was whoever won that match gets to pick their rematch. Get to pick the stipulation for their rematch, since the New Day technically have a rematch for the SmackDown tag titles. To me, that was the match. You pretty much showed that the Usos were the better team. They won, no bull crap about it. And now the Usos get to pick a stipulation for a rematch. It's going to favor them. It didn't make sense to me personally because, they should have done something where, could have been a beat the clock challenge, they face another team or something like that. Well, then again, with the depth that it has in their SmackDown tag team division, but both tag team divisions, well, Raw's has been okay. SmackDown's, they've both been okay, but there's more teams to play around with than just the teams that they are using on both brands. So matches like that, and then Randy Orton beating Jinder Mahal clean in a championship match, and then feuds dragging on Randy Orton and Jinder Mahal. That was a feud that dragged on a little too long. AJ Styles and Kevin Owens, despite them having decent matches, they did a lot of them, and it was starting to get it behind them. They did add the stipulation with Shane McMahon in there because it did show a little bit of long-term booking between him and Kevin Owens. But personally, SmackDown Live was producing all these fresh matches every week. It wasn't the same main event all the time. And even if it was, it meant something. And it was something that we were able to get invested in, because it was going to get to another category we'll talk about in a little bit. We'll have one more category before we get to this. But that's just one thing SmackDown Live's done. It's done the same matches over and over again a lot. And it's feeling like how Raw was last year, how everything kept happening over and over again. And there was nothing different. Nothing was getting accomplished. Nobody was benefiting. And everything was making people feel worse. So that's one reason why SmackDown Live has fallen, and also with the no depth and development and character at all. And here's another reason why it happens. I don't know if you guys noticed this. Back in February, the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. It was a decent pay-per-view. It's probably about a B pay-per-view. I give it a grade. It wasn't the best pay-per-view of the year, but it was a strong pay-per-view. Something from that pay-per-view, though. There were, I think, 6 or 7 matches on that card. Out of them, 3 of them were women's matches. Remember the days on SmackDown Live where SmackDown Live used to actually have the women in non-title feuds like Nikki Bella and Carmella? My favorite one was definitely Nikki Bella and Natalya. And ever since the Superstar shakeup, we've had either Naomi defending her title. We did have the women's Money in the Bank match. I'll count that. Okay, I like that. But then we're having them just feud for the number one contendership. We're constantly seeing these 5 women elimination matches for the number one contendership. They have them terrible, and with them still coming over from when SmackDown Live made their women feel anything to be champions. And you bring in people like Charlotte, even though people like Tamina and Lana, which I don't want to trash on Lana, but Tamina does not feel like she's necessary to be a champion. But personally, I feel that this is something else that's been lacking in SmackDown, because despite the fact that they've built these women up as strong as champions, as champion contenders, they're not doing with anything else other than just competing for a championship. To me, it feels like how it would feel over on Raw except with more depth in the women's division. I enjoyed those women's feuds that weren't even for the title, even if like the SmackDown tag team division, or like any tag team division. If you want to include a feud involving just tag teams, not going after the tag titles, just so build more credibility in them to make them think, oh, these are upcoming stars, and they're trying to make names for themselves by taking out these teams that are ones that they could use momentum over pretty much. But now we're not getting that, and to me, the SmackDown Women's Division is starting to feel like a division that's the only thing that matters about is the championship, and that's not how it should be. We want to know who these stars are and get to know them, not just by competing for the title, but competing with everybody else as well. Robbie says in the live chat, I think Chad Gable can benefit from a strong feud with Shelton Benjamin after they split in the future, but I'd like to see them win the SmackDown tag titles. Oh, definitely, I agree. I don't know if they'll. I'm going to predict maybe they will have a tag title match. So I think I can see the Usos and the New Day possibly wrapping up their feud before Hell in a Cell. So I think it wouldn't surprise me if Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin did have a tag title match at Hell in a Cell. But I do also think that it could be a little soon as well. But whenever I make my prediction anymore, I try to also think logically with WWE of what they would pick as well. So I do kind of see maybe they will put Gable and Benjamin in a tag title shot. We'll see, but definitely down the line, when those two ever split up, I would definitely like to see a feud between those two as well. But so far, again, just to review the three things we've talked about so far, which the first one just pretty much wraps into everything we're going to talk about. No depth for development, overdone matches, and no more non-title women's feuds, or even for SmackDown tag titles. Now, my number two reason why I feel SmackDown Live has fallen is because feuds are not benefiting either just the wrong person or it's benefiting nobody. It's not doing anything for anybody at all. I can think back to Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt. Before Orton burned down the Wyatt family compound, that feud was excellent. I mean, the matches were so-so. I mean, well, they didn't have their match at Backlash because Orton was injured. Instead, they fed Bray Wyatt the cane. But I can forgive him for that one because, I mean, despite the fact that they had a so-so match at No Mercy, I was still happy that Wyatt won, and they brought back Luke Harper as well. So despite, the match being average, we still got, like, what we needed. But still also, I mean, that didn't make, like, compare that match to the House of Horrors match. That match made nobody look good at all. Like, personally, WrestleMania on, Randy Orton's been the boring Blandy Borton character that my friends like to call it, because he just looks like he just does not care in there. He's not putting any effort into it at all. Before then, when Randy Orton joined the Wyatt family, he really helped elevate them. Bray Wyatt, I mean, despite the fact that it did feel like, he only got the championship just to give it up to Randy Orton at WrestleMania, they still made it believable at the time that Bray Wyatt could be a champion. He beat AJ Styles and John Cena clean, not just in the Elimination Chamber, but the following SmackDown after the Elimination Chamber match. And then Orton also helped elevate Bray Wyatt to the SmackDown tag title run. It didn't last too long, but it was there while it was. And also it helped elevate Luke Harper as well. Heck, Luke Harper, if you remember, almost got into the main event of WrestleMania. Now where is he? Where's Eric Rowan? Both of them, like, where are they? They just disappeared off the face of the earth. And then Robbie NT and Couponer in the live chat. Robbie says, please tell me, Mike, what they're doing with Ty Dillinger and Sami Zayn. Why aren't they in title pictures as strong contenders? That's why also, I didn't like that open challenge match last week with AJ Styles and Ty Dillinger. I mean, I know it was kind of more so to start setting up a feud with him and Baron Corbin, but I did not like how they used Ty in that, because it made Ty look like a joke. And then Sami Zayn as well. They keep using him in just these like low card feuds, like Mike Kanellis, who they're not doing much with him, because personally, why should we hate Mike Kanellis just because him and Maria are in love. They haven't given us a legitimate reason why to hate him, other than the fact that he smacked Sami Zayn with a glass vase, or was it he did it? Yeah, and two, especially with Sami Zayn. How did Sami Zayn last year beat Kevin Owens at Battleground, ending their feud there, and then he got put into the nothing picture as he was he lost to Chris Jericho at Clash of Champions. I remember that. I don't know if he got him. I think he got a match at Hell in a Cell. He lost the Intercontinental title. He was involved in that feud with Braun Strowman, which that wasn't too bad, but still, he should have at least been in the mid-card run, not just like a one-time thing, but at least that. And then Kevin Owens goes on to win a Universal title by pretty much getting every victory handed to him, and that's not the Kevin Owens we know. And here's the other thing too. A lot of people, say they don't like the cowardly heels, and some people say they want more aggressive heels. I agree. It just depends on who it is. Like honestly, Jinder Mahal, it would make more sense because storyline-wise, Jinder Mahal was not that successful until he formed his alliance with the Singh brothers, and now he is somehow winning matches. Despite help with the Singh brothers, it makes sense. That's the only way it shows he can win. Kevin Owens, we know, is not that. We want the Kevin Owens that just ripping everybody to shreds, powerbombing people through aprons, and selling that powerbomb to the fact that it is putting wrestlers out of action for quite a while. Hey, I remember last year, I can't remember who mentioned it. Either Dalyxman or it was you, Robbie. I can't remember. Somebody said this, or maybe Dan, I can't remember. Somebody mentioned this, how Kevin Owens powerbombed Seth Rollins into the apron, and he was wrestling a Hell in a Cell the following week, where when Kevin Owens was on NXT, his powerbomb to the apron put Sami Zayn out of action for like 6 months. Where's the continuity there? And Ty Dillinger as well. You could have easily built up Ty Dillinger as a strong underdog character as well, but you're doing nothing with him right now. At first I think, give him a chance, but especially after I saw what happened last week on Smackdown Live with the in that United States Open Challenge being like a complete jobber, I really do starting to lose some hope that they actually are going to do something with Ty Dillinger. TN Coupon said, do you think WWE is sabotaging SmackDown? Yeah, I definitely do think that's possible. Sammy and Ty for the U.S. title, yes. And yeah, I heard something about Mike Kanellis going to rehab. If Harper and Rowan came back as a team, though, I don't know if I would be able to take it seriously because it happened before. And they did nothing with them too. So I feel like they're just going in circles right now. They're together. They split them up. They're together again. They're nothing with them. They split them up. It's just not making any sense. Let me see here. Yeah, person in the live chat. But getting back to what I was saying before, how the wrong person or nobody's benefiting from feuds. Here's another prime example recently. Baron Corbin. Baron Corbin was Mr. Money in the Bank. Had the momentum going, maybe he may not have been ready to be a world champion, but he had momentum going, showing that he could at least, compete in the main roster spot. Or, even though at the beginning of the year, a prime example would be that triple threat match for the WWE Championship with him, Dolph Ziggler, and AJ Styles on the last SmackDown before the last SmackDown Live of 2016 last year. Despite the loss, Corbin came out of that match looking strong. See, there's a difference in, either putting the wrong person over or at least having us believe that either one could have won the match. Making people cry. I understand you can't do that all the time because there are some wrestlers that you want to make look dominant, some that you want to make look like this person can't handle this person. But in a situation like this, you had an opportunity to build a strong start in Baron Corbin, and yes, maybe I was a little upset because Cena was the one who costed Corbin his Money in the Bank cash-in. I would have not been as upset. It would have been Shinsuke Nakamura costing him, but the fact that Cena did it and the fact that lately they had that Super Cena feel to him on SmackDown Live, that's why I was upset. And then I thought, okay, well, I'll give it a chance at least at SummerSlam. They will have Baron Corbin coming out, want his revenge on Cena just to tear him apart, just pissed off, get him to that next level. Just like how another prime example, when Braun Strowman lost to Roman Reigns clean, That just turned up the intensity. And then Braun Strowman destroyed Roman Reigns. He beat him at Payback. Before that, he pretty much destroyed him in an ambulance. And then Strowman even survived Reigns almost killing him in an ambulance. And now look at Braun Strowman. He's destroying Brock Lesnar through tables. And it's lovely. I'm loving it. Like right now, I'm leaning towards having Braun Strowman being my superstar of the year. But anyways, getting back to Corbin. Corbin came out at their match at SummerSlam like nothing happened and just took all the criticism that Cena and the crowd was giving him. I wanted to see him literally tear Cena apart so badly, and it did not happen. And to me, I made Corbin look like a joke. I'm going to give this feud with him and AJ Styles for the U.S. Championship a chance. If they do put the U.S. title on Corbin, or at least, make Corbin look good, I can somewhat forgive it, but that's just a prime example of, either having the wrong person going over, or another example, Randy Orton and Rusev. Why on earth did you? I heard rumors they only did that just to make Randy Orton look good because he had been losing pay-per-views. What does Orton have left to gain at this point? He has nothing to lose. He's going to be a WWE Hall of Famer. He can be more noticeable for helping put over a good talent like Rusev, who's been squashed there. I don't even know why this feud is continuing. Like, really, the only reason I can see them having a match again is because, Orton's been having the number on Rusev with just that RKO. Is there anything else that Orton can hit, though? That's why I can see possibly a Hell in a Cell. They could have a match again with the RKO banned just to take, Orton's bread and butter away from him. But it's not going to work, honestly. In the live chat, the recent story of Baron Corbin's shakes my head. Surprised WWE didn't let Cena have the Money in the Bank briefcase. So sad about Rusev. He should have been a dominant heel world champion. And that's another thing too. A big thing from me, from working in video production in real life. Another thing is continuity, as I keep ranting about. What happened a couple months ago where Rusev said he was not going to show up to SmackDown Live unless he's going to get a WWE title opportunity at Money in the Bank. He's going to show up the following week wanting an answer from Shane McMahon. The whole thing got dropped, and Rusev shows up like nothing happened and ends up wrestling Cena in a flag match. What did that do? It didn't help anything. It hurt Rusev even more. It made Cena look bad because, again, I was really getting behind Cena being on SmackDown Live. And they brought him back on the July 4th. Well, this feud with Reigns right now, I'm invested in. But before that, I was not interested at all in anything that Cena had to do. What else is there? Wrong person or nobody benefiting from feuds. Let me see here. I talked about, Bray Wyatt. I talked about Luke Harper. I talked about Baron Corbin. I'm sure there's a few more, but that's the thing. Like, nobody's benefiting from any feuds at all whatsoever because of storytelling. If Ryan Ward was still head writer, I'm sure he would have, at least had, Rusev go over Randy Orton, at least look strong against Randy Orton. Have Baron Corbin at least try to tear the crap out of John Cena at SummerSlam. That didn't happen. It just frustrates me. So, but speaking of like those superstars like Baron Corbin or some people who have lost momentum, let's get to the number one reason why I think SmackDown Live has fallen recently. The number one reason I put down is Talking Smack getting canceled. Talking Smack was like the unique point of SmackDown Live because Raw has Raw Talk, but it's only after Raw pay-per-views. Now they're making Talking Smack just after SmackDown pay-per-views. And SmackDown was being platformed off of Talking Smack in a way. It was allowing people to get over and to get to know our characters more. Baron Corbin was someone who's benefited from SmackDown Live. The Miz was benefiting from SmackDown Live. You put him over on Raw, and he's done a little bit better late since they got, I don't know. I mean, like that promo he did cut last 2 weeks ago was pretty good, but still, he hasn't really been the same since being on Raw. But Talking Smack was like a platform that was allowing us to get to know these wrestlers even better and to get behind them and develop more of a character. And they took that away, and that takes away a lot. And that takes away. And now SmackDown Live doesn't allow us to do that. And it's taken away from guys like, a Baron Corbin especially, or The Miz, who's not on SmackDown Live anymore, he's on Raw, and several others. But that's the number one reason why I think SmackDown Live has fallen. I mean, to me, this video, in my honest opinion, kind of seemed a little more like a comparison of Ryan Ward's SmackDown to Road Dogg's SmackDown. But, I mean, personally, that's what it's kind of seemed like. But that's just my reasons of why SmackDown, I think, has fallen. Again, mainly because of the lack of depth. But also, mainly tied in there, matches are being overdone in pointless matches that are happening, rematches that, why should we care? There are no more non-title women's feuds or even tag teams. The wrong person or nobody's benefiting from feuds, and talking smack being canceled. It's just a shame. There's things that I enjoyed on SmackDown Live that have just gone away. Even, the Fashion Files. I was digging those things at the beginning, and then lately they feel like it's just dragging on. Like, Ryan Ward would not have had, their segment at Battleground be more of another clue. They would have settled it then and figured out, who has been behind this case all along. And now it's just getting dragging on even more and more. And, I mean, in my opinion, I think it's going to help debut the Authors of Pain, but it's still just dragging on, and to me, it's going so long that I'm just not caring anymore. It's not accomplishing anything. NXT, I talked about this last week on my NXT review. Last week's episode of NXT, I didn't get as much out of it as I hoped we were going to get out of it, but it left me wanting more. That's what SmackDown was doing. Now it's not really wanting more. It's really wanting less. It's like how Raw was doing. As Daniel Geisa says, less is more, but WWE says more is less. They do. Like last week's episode, it felt like they did a lot, and everything they did just felt either rushed or was pointless. I'm actually not really that excited about watching Randy Orton versus Shinsuke Nakamura because, one, if they WWE would be stupid enough to have Randy Orton and Jinder Mahal feud again, even though they just finished their feud off, and Randy Orton really should be the champion because he beat Jinder Mahal clean in a grudge match, where Jinder Mahal should have been the one dethroning Shinsuke Nakamura should have been the one dethroning Jinder Mahal at SummerSlam, even though it was just the same old crap with the Singh brothers helping out Mahal, and it's even though they're trying, Jinder is trying to make this work. I'm still not behind Jinder as a champion. That's another thing too. They threw Jinder in as being WWE champion. How am I supposed to take that seriously? I don't know. But again, I know I probably rambled on this a little bit. Thank you, Robbie One Kenobi and TN Couponer for joining me in the live chat for this video. Again, my top 5 reasons why SmackDown Live has fallen. Number 5 is no depth or development. Number 4 is overdone matches. Number 3, no more non-title women's feuds. Number 2 is the wrong person or nobody's benefiting from the feuds. And number 1, talking smack being canceled. So what are your thoughts about why SmackDown Live has recently taken the fall? Leave your thoughts down in the comment section below. Please be sure to click that like and subscribe for more content on my channel as well. Make sure to follow me on Twitter also at TheManAirboy93. Upcoming videos, as usual, I'll be doing my Raw, SmackDown, NXT reviews this week. I will also try to do my predicted match card for Hell in a Cell. As far as odds and ends, I'm still going to continue playing Coming Out of the Storm. I have floor 6 to 10 next, which those floors aren't going to be that easy to surpass, guys, but I will get those done soon. But thank you guys again for joining. I know this is a little bit like a late night review, but of a video, but it's just something I had in my mind. I just wanted to, come up here and talk about. And yep, that is it, guys. Until then, I'll see you on my next video. Have a great night and enjoy your Labor Day tomorrow.